Hi, Luann. Live from
Hi, Mark. How
Florida.
are
How
you
are
doing
you?
today? I'm doing great. We have beautiful weather here, and I'll be going out on a boat after we're done with our podcast to watch one of our launches here where they send the boosters back. So we'll be out on a boat and watching it from the water and
I'm
looking
jealous.
forward to it. I know. And how are
Oh, it's
things in
snowing here,
Minnesota?
for God's sakes. You know, it's been 50 all winter. Now March comes and it's winter. So
Mark,
that's
that's
too
too
bad. You
bad.
feel for me, don't you? Pretty sure
I
you
feel
don't.
for you. Yeah.
All right, let's talk Young and Restless, Luann.
Yes, it's
It
been a
has
long
been a
time
couple
since
weeks
we've
for
dished
sure.
about
Yeah.
Young and the Restless.
All right, let's talk about Ashley first. So Ashley continues
Okay.
to kind of show off her bizarre behavior. She's still kind of pursuing Tucker pretty heavily. And I love her rivalry with Audra. She hates her.
I know she does. Her alter
Yeah,
ego at
right.
least does. And yeah, and and Ashley is fighting inside her own mind with the voices that are talking to her, and she is just so out of character when she's her alter ego with Tucker. It's just like her wild uninhibited side with him, and he is totally confused and wondering what the heck is going on with her. And she's kind of pulling Tucker in because he likes that side of her, and he actually canceled his trip to Paris with Audra, and Audra was not
Yeah.
happy about that. And Ashley is kind of egging Audra on, also like, hey, you don't stand a chance with him. He loves me and he
Which is
wants
probably
me.
true,
So
by the way. I mean, that she doesn't have a
true.
chance. Yeah.
Oh, it is. It is. Yeah. Audra will always be the second choice, but she's always there. She's always been there for Tucker, and we'll see if she'll stay like that.
Yeah, I'm surprised she sticks with that because um, realistically, she's always kind of in or out. She's always kind of trying to get into Tucker's world, and it's just, I'm surprised she hasn't gotten tired of that yet, but maybe she will.
Right. Right. Yeah. She'll tire of it
All
soon.
right, let's talk about the good story that's happening, or the wildest one anyway. Uh, Aunt Jordan, since you and I talked, Aunt Jordan ends up taking Victor hostage. I think we left it last time that when we talked that
Yeah. Yes.
they met him and Victor and Baldwin met Jordan in the alley
Yes.
there, and he ended up suggesting to Jordan that she take him hostage, and so she did. And she takes him to her secret location,
Hi.
and
Yes.
it looks like an old warehouse or something. But anyway, she takes him
Yeah.
there, and it looks pretty. It looked pretty grim for old Victor for a minute there, but
I know. But he never broke a sweat. He never lost
exactly,
his
old
cool.
Victor, you don't rattle him too easily.
No,
So
you
Victor ends
don't.
up, all of a sudden somebody kind of comes out from behind the corner about the time she's aiming the pistol at Victor and hits her with a stun gun. And we don't know who it is.
She goes
And then all of a
down.
sudden we realize it's
Yes.
Nick.
Yes. And here they had a little tracker on Victor, unbeknownst to Crazy Aunt Jordan. And Nick, she said, well, I never saw anyone following us. And Nick said, well, I was
Yeah.
following along a parallel road so you wouldn't see me. So, yeah, the tables really turned on Aunt Jordan. And here she was stuck in that warehouse room, locked in, no food, no water, and screaming and yelling as Victor and Nick left. So it was a good way for things to end for Aunt Jordan in that little room. And Victor and Nick were victorious there with their
Yeah,
little
at least
plan.
at that point. uh,
At least
yeah.
at that point, right?
So they lock her up in that room and they leave. And then after everybody kind of returns back, Nicki, Victoria, and Claire all decide that they're going to go kind of confront Jordan on what she's done, etc., and how they feel about her. So they go and
Yes,
they do that.
correct.
Couple observations, though, is that one is based on how Victor must have let Nick know to come. It can't be that far away. I mean, I realize it's television. It's, but,
Right. Right. I think it was in somewhat close proximity to their
I think
Genoa City, but the ladies brought a security guard with because Victor was not
Right.
really on board with this. And Nicki said the only way for her to move on is to confront Jordan and deal with her. And so that she could hopefully get over, wanting and craving alcohol and be able to put that all behind her better. And same for Victoria and Claire. When they both agreed with Nicki that they wanted to do it, Victor knew he was outnumbered, so he said okay. And yes, it was interesting. Jordan does not back down. I mean, even confronted with these three ladies who are, it's like, you're not getting out of here, and this is how you have affected our lives, and you're just a wicked old wrench, and as she's like, hey, she's just back at them, and it's like, belittling each of them in her own way, and really coming down on Claire, which surprised me. But she gets angry, and Jordan just lashes out at everyone. But I thought, even then, she's still thinking she's dishing it out to everybody as they're putting her in her place.
So what they end up, like you said, cornering her in that room, and then she ends up she has a little vial, and it's kind of a blue substance, and I guess we're assuming it's poison of some kind, right? We don't know. Did she? I don't think she said.
Yes.
Did she?
No, she
drank it.
She drank it, and then she fell down on the makeshift bed there, and it was kind of like, oh, that was how it ended that day. And I was expecting a little bit more. I thought there would be more of a confrontation. Yes, there was the verbal confrontation, but I thought there'd be more physical confrontation in all of this. And I thought, wow, she's taking the easy way out. And that really surprised me. That ending of that story really kind of surprised me. And the strangest part is then yesterday's episode, it was kind of like the ladies were back at their home, Newman's Ranch, and nothing more said about Crazy Aunt Jordan. And it's kind of like, well, did she die? Didn't she die? You'd think there would have been more to it, or are they going to do something behind the background that we will just be told about what happened? I thought there'd be more with that whole storyline, because it was just kind of like, she's killing her. If she's going to kill herself, that's that's too easy.
And, well, we'll get into that. I have a question for you coming up on that.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Yes. All right.
All right. So this other story, I think you and I both kind of predicted, and it did kind of come to fruition as I think you and I both thought it would. But Lily comes home from her trip, and she finds Heather and Daniel and their daughter having dinner, and they were. It looked awful cozy, and so Lily knows something is up, and she ends up confronting Daniel after they're alone now after all that, and he ends up admitting it, which I gave him credit for. I mean, I thought he would, but he ends up admitting that he's kind of fallen back in love with Heather, and that he wants to put his family back together.
Right. And, for, Daniel said, I was not planning this, it happened. And she said, I understand that. And, she was still upset with him, but she said, I believe Heather planned this. That it was kind of Heather's intentions, that I want to get my family back together, because Heather feels Daniel has changed, and he has. And Lucy loves having her mom and dad back together. So, for Lily, she understands and believes Daniel that he was not intentionally doing this. But Heather, on the other hand, she believes she was intentionally doing it. And then the other person, she was, like you said, Lily is pissed. And she was upset with her brother, Devon, too, because when Daniel said, well, Devon, I confided, and he knew, too. And she's like, my brother knew?
She's going to be pissed off.
And so, yeah. So Lily, confronted Devon too, and so Lily is very upset. And looking into next week's storyline, I think she's going to have a little talking to Heather, because Heather just got hired by Chancellor Winters.
Talk about uncomfortable. Holy cow!
I know. So two things could either happen: that Lily fires her, or they keep her there, and Lily makes it very uncomfortable for Heather. So that will be interesting too to see. But yeah, Lily's very, and she has a good reason for being upset with that whole situation. While she's gone, while the cat's away, like the mice will play, kind of thing.
But the other thing is that. I think Lily's right that Heather did plan it. I mean, you could tell early on she had come back for a reason. She was setting her sights on Daniel right away. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
All right. So Kyle and Summer, I don't know. This is an interesting story, but Kyle and Summer end up learning the truth this week about Claire, her history, and with the whole thing with Aunt Jordan and her involvement with all that, et cetera. And they were strongly considering her to be a nanny, and now it's like, oh, that's out, So.
Yeah. It's like, I need a little more, they got the information on her. It's like, do we
trust her? Yeah.
Do we trust her? Being, she's a Newman, but, she was groomed by Aunt Jordan, and, can you trust that she has changed? And Harrison really attached to her, so, and he was not happy with any of the nannies they were interviewing prior to that. So, will they be put in a situation where, hey, Harrison really likes her, and has she changed, or do we keep looking, And so it was interesting, seeing Kyle and Summer together, working this through for Harrison, and Summer just surprised with what Claire's all been through and what the Newman family had been through, because Summer was not aware of the whole situation.
They're not really advertising what all occurred there.
Mm-hmm. But. Yeah, and you and I kind of talked about yesterday's episode. That was kind
weird,
of
wasn't it?
Interesting how it was weird, because how they had Claire wake up, and it looked like it was happening in real life, but it was a dream sequence, and how things would have been if she would have always been with
if she would have grown up a Newman,
and Cole because they even said her name was Eve. And it was kind of interesting how they kind of froze in time, like where Sharon and Nick were still together. The twins were still there. I try to remember their names.
Oh, yeah.
But
I know what you mean.
Yeah. And it was interesting. And then I thought it was funny how Adam was working in the restaurant.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Remember, Adam was like a maitre d' or something, or the owner of the restaurant. I don't know.
They were really sucking up to Claire in her dream, though. Oh, you're wonderful, Claire. You're just fabulous.
Yes, but it was her dream, so she could be the best. But it was interesting how Aunt Jordan would appear in the dream sequence sometimes too.
I don't know, Luann. I don't have dreams where everybody's sitting around the table telling me how wonderful I am. It just doesn't happen. I should try and have one of those dreams once, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, you're wonderful, Mark. We could have done it without you.
Now I'm going to dream that tonight. Watch.
Yes. So it was an interesting take on the whole thing. Kind of like I said, they kind of left the Aunt Jordan story where she's just laying on the bed. Is she dead or not dead? And then go to Claire's dream sequence.
Yeah, and they chewed up the whole hour basically yesterday on that. And, I get the storyline. I mean, I thought the the storyline was good, but I thought to use a whole hour for that, I'm like, wow, I mean, it's kind of a lot.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that's our critique of Wednesday's episode.
And we're sticking with it.
All right. Then lastly, agenda-wise, let's talk about Adam and Chelsea, and they're dealing with emotional issues with Connor. The one thing I was just going to say, I mean, this storyline's just it's kind of there. We don't know where this is really headed, other than I do appreciate how the writers on this story are real good about dealing with real life issues that people deal with. And I like that in their writing style when they do that.
Yeah. And, Connor is in a situation where he doesn't really like where he's at, and they want to send him somewhere else where he can get some more behavioral counseling. And he doesn't want to do that. He really wants to come home. But will he get the care that he needs there? And Chelsea's feeling very torn because I think she's still in a fragile state also. And she, is worried about Connor, worried about herself. Well, she, kind of flipped back into some of her old feelings too. So it's like you said, a good storyline. Adam, again, has been very supportive and trying to work with Chelsea to do what's best for Connor, not butting heads with her kind of thing. So, we'll see where that storyline goes, but it's real life situation and people having to deal with that. So, and Connor, the young actor who's portraying Connor, is doing a good job.
I agree
with that.
Yeah, he plays the mood swings quite well, and the whole issue with the dealing with it. So, all right, so let's move into Super Sudsy questions for my co-host. The ultimate question, I guess, Luann, is crazy Aunt Jordan, is she dead or is she alive?
Like I said, they left us guessing, and I have to believe she's dead. But you think, and when they were back at the Newman house, I don't think that was all part of a dream sequence, but when they were back at the Newman house, the ladies didn't indicate like, yay, she's dead. And, oh, I feel bad. Claire was shedding tears. So, were they able to save her? We don't see that part, but because the ladies were there, maybe they called 911 to get her to a hospital so that her death isn't on their hands, kind of thing. But I don't. You don't think she's dead? Or will she just come?
I don't. Either.
I don't think she's dead. Or will she just come back in dream sequences? Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, good point. That's a good point.
It's kind of, and it's kind of like Sheila on Bold and the Beautiful.
9
is
lives
she really
or
dead
like
or
cats.
not? And she and Jordan, Sheila and Jordan play very good evil characters. Very good
to make the stories interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, their face and facial expressions are
good
perfect
actor.
for playing a
actresses,
nasty, evil person.
The thing I was going to...
So I
was just going to say, Luann,
what do you think?
I'm going to say that what's going to happen here is Claire... I've been watching Claire very carefully because I haven't been 100% convinced throughout that she is
who she seems to be.
Exactly. That she's not going to show us all of a sudden that she's still tied in with Aunt Jordan. I don't think so, but I do think this. I think she's going to have such a feeling heart that she's going to know how they left her there, of course, because she was there, and that she's going to feel some weird sense of responsibility for her, and I think she's going to go to see her, and Jordan's going to overpower her and get away. That's what I think is going to happen.
Oh, okay. Good observation.
All right. Yeah. What's going to happen with Lily and Daniel, Luann? And Heather, for that matter. Let's throw all of them into it.
And Heather. Yes, I think there's going to be some confrontation with Lily and Heather. And whatever happens there, Daniel's going to feel the repercussion because Heather's going to come home and be very upset, and he's going to have to deal with her. And I think Lily's going to kind of write Daniel off. It's kind of like, well, you made your decision here. I thought you loved me, but apparently you love Heather more and what you had. And I think, and as I predicted in the past, I think Lily will find a new love interest at some point. And I'm hoping maybe it might be Nick, but we'll see.
I've always thought that about those two. I was surprised that those two never really hooked up.
Yeah, and Lily, the character who plays her, looks really great coming back from maternity leave.
She's
she kind of made her hair a little more blonde.
She's just gorgeous.
Very pretty
is.
lady. But that's my take. What do you think?
I think that Lily is going to. I have a question for you because I'm trying to recall. Was Lily ever involved with Danny Romalotti?
I don't think so.
I don't either, but then part of me started to question that she may have had a history there, but I don't think so. But wouldn't that be interesting if all of a sudden now she gets involved with the whole Phyllis cricket?
Phyllis will feel like, God, now I've got somebody else to get out of the picture here. But, and speaking of Danny Romalotti and Chris Cricket, at one time I thought, because he asked her to go on tour with him, and I thought, is that how they brought them in on the show for their 30th anniversary? Is that how they're going to have them exit that? Oh, they're all going on tour, and Cricket's going to join him. Chris is going to join him, Christine. But what I'm reading is Danny said, no, he's not quite done on the show yet. So there might be, so that's how I thought they were going to, just have them go off the show. But it sounds like there might be more going on for their storyline.
I've always kind of cheered for him and for Danny and Cricket to get together. I like those two as a couple, but.
Yeah, they're a nice couple together, and and I think it's way past Phyllis interfering in that, and it's just
she's a train
I don't like
wreck.
That part of the storyline.
She is.
Yes, that's a great way to describe it.
All right, so my last Super Sudsy question for you is: what's up with Kyle and his mother? That's going to get interesting.
Oh, I know. I still think Jack picking Diane over Kyle is still rubbing him the wrong way, and it's every day makes it worse for him that he has to report to his mom, and she wants to pull in the reins, and it sounds like they have a little confrontation. Maybe
I saw
next
that
week
too in the
it.
previews. Yeah,
trying to push his weight around, and it's like one of those things is like, I know more than you do, Mom, and you're trying to tell me what to do, that kind of thing. So Jack may have to play referee there for a little bit.
Yeah, I think you and I touched on this earlier, but it really didn't make any sense for Jack to appoint her. She's got no upper management experience in a corporate world. I mean, I'm like, wow, talk about a fish out of water,
Yeah, I know. I think it was just because she was Mrs. Abbott. Yeah, right. I think so. And he had no one else to
other
move
than
into that position
Kyle,
because Billy, or Billy, and Billy said he didn't want it.
Yeah, old Billy. So go ahead, Luann. Any other comments or thoughts?
No, I was just going to say it'll be interesting to see where Ashley, Tucker, and Audra end up next week too, because at the end of one of the episodes this week, Ashley, it sounded like her good alter ego was coming to the surface again, and will she get some help, or will she figure out that my mind is playing games with me, or will it be too late for her? I don't know.
Yeah, that storyline will be interesting to follow to see how that thing leads down the road. But I agree with your earlier comment when you made the statement that Tucker kind of likes that alter ego, the bad Ashley. He kind of likes that.
The bad Ashley, naughty Ashley.
He likes that.
Yeah.
Well, he's a man.
He does. Yeah. And he's Tucker.
All right. Any other thoughts, Luann? Yeah.
No, okay. I don't have any others.
We covered a lot.
We did.
All right. Until we dish next time, keep it sudsy.
Oh, yes. I look
And we're
forward
out.
to it. Bye.